Let's take a quick look at some examples of R4B multimodal work, strong and also that needs improvement. Here's an example of a polished piece that came at the end of the semester. Just take a look at the rich variety of stuff we have here. We have text laid over images, but we also have things like video clips, and notice how it just kind of alternates, right? There's this nice balance of text, visuals, different types of visuals, charts, graphs, but everything also kind of has this kind of fun, fresh feel to it that's in line with, the personal kind of nature of the topic. And also, there are things like some of the videos, right? It all just kind of works together in a good way. All right, here's another end of the semester piece, something that had a lot of work went into. This is the lead image. I don't know if you're having trouble getting that, but really it shows some of the fine details of beauty and both men and women. I think that this writer kind of struggled with finding a good lead image for this piece. In general, that is a struggle. But then take a look at the subsequent images. Here we learn about kind of female beauty, and we get an image to go with it. And then we get male beauty standards, and this is all background, and we get an image to go with that. All right. Then there's a bit of a transition, and we kind of get back to the main idea, and that lead image pops up again. Then we get into the beauty premium at work. All right. Then at school. And then in criminal sentencing, and you can see the division of ideas in this piece. That's what a polished piece looks like. Let's look at some other ones now. All right, here's a piece. This was a multimodal diagnostic. When you take a look at this, there's some things that are working here. For example, here the writer is talking about kids, and the photo shows a kid. Okay, here the writer talks about computers, and the photo shows a computer. But on balance, though, there's a lot of things that just don't work here. Like, first of all, what's even the topic of this piece? Is it smiles? Is it facial expressions? Well, that looks like a smile. What's going on here? I don't know. That kind of looks like, it's not really even clear what the topic of this piece is. And the other thing that's not quite clear is the main idea, what the writer wants to say about the power or the role of facial expressions. You have to read it to figure out, and the images are just no help in that regard. And then finally, there's this idea of how all the images come together. That looks kind of like lighthearted and silly, right? But here the writer's talking about autism, which, is not a lighthearted subject, at least as this writer's presenting it, right? That seems kind of lighthearted too, but, here we're talking about pro-sociality. Is the feel of the images and the feel of the language doesn't go together. This piece got a D, all right? Then the writer revised it and, worked on some of those things, and it got better, all right? Here's another piece that didn't score particularly well. Well, one thing you'll notice right off the bat is that it's really hard to read the text that this writer's laid over this picture. The picture does kind of get at the idea of a smile pretty clearly. It also seems like, someone's the only one smiling in a sea of non-smiling people. And when you look at the other pictures, okay, that's a smile. Those are smiles. Okay, so the picture says smile. So, topic seems pretty clear here. This is about smiles. But the other stuff, okay, like what's the main idea here? Not clear, right? You'd have to read it to figure out. Also, what's the division of ideas? Hard to know. And then the second half of the essay, there's just no images to help us at all. And then there's the same kind of questions of tone. Like, I don't know, it's hard to get a sense of what the feeling is here. That's pretty lighthearted, right? But when we're talking about, recent studies have proven that smiling is an inherited human characteristic. That language doesn't go with that picture, right? So this, other than the sense of topic, the images don't really do a whole lot here. That's another example of a D. All right. Once again, the writer improved and revised, and things got stronger. Okay. Here's a piece that, now when you look at it, it starts off with some of these same kind of problems, but as you go on though, you start noticing connections. Okay, that seems to be about like smiling and culture maybe. Okay, there's like a kind of a, look, we have kind of like a west and east thing going on here, west and east. And then, that's kind of reflected in the language, right? We're talking here about, culture, right? And if you look all the way up at the top, there's this note about smile culture. Here, the writer does kind of have this idea of, what this, where he's going. We get a sense of topic. It's about smiles. You get a sense of main idea that the writer wants to say something about culture and smiles. So what's missing here is a lead image, a lead image that works with a title to really kind of show what this piece is all about. This is an example of a C, right? A piece that has potential, it just needs some work, This piece improved quite a bit too after revision. This is an example of end of the semester work. This is a really strong piece. This is what an A looks like, okay? And just, you could probably recognize that just by looking at it. First, look at the title, right? You want to live a healthier, happier, and longer life? Just smile. All right, well, first of all, that's a great title because it tells you exactly what the piece is about, but it also goes perfectly with this image because she seems to have lived a long life, right? And she looks really happy and she's got a big smile, And then the other thing that the images are doing here is showing the division of ideas. First, we're going to learn about the difference between genuine and fake smiles, just as that picture and the subheading show. And then we're going to get into things like, smiling for better health, right? And then here that image kind of comes back to it. Also, these images all work together to, really show the main idea, like the idea of these positive effects, but also they all work together in terms of feel and tone. This piece has a positive feel to it, right? It's kind of like an uplifting sort of vibe. Even the science-y image in here has kind of a cartoon feel to it. So it all really works together, So again, that's what an A looks like, and that's what, that can be like a goal for all of us, right? Take a look at this piece here too. Okay, well, the title, The Evolutionary Reasons for Smiling in the Workplace, that kind of makes sense. And these people are at work, right? Because they got collared shirts and they're sitting around a desk or something, right? And then, look at that picture. Okay, people at work. Okay, so I mean, you can see how this kind of comes together, right? It's about the evolutionary stuff about smiling at work, and we see some people at work, and then here's some, apes or whatever. All right, so okay, it all kind of comes together. You get a sense of topic, you get a sense of main idea. Division of ideas, though, not quite as clear. Is this the place where, okay, well, I guess this goes with the primates thing, but like, how is this different than like that, than like that? That I don't know. The division of ideas isn't quite clear. And then also the lead image, I don't know. When you think about this, okay, first of all, these people aren't smiling. Okay, and second of all, what's the whole evolutionary tie-in, right? It's not quite clear here. This writer ended up revising and doing a split screen thing where half of one thing showed like an ape and then the other half showed like a worker, and the images kind of reflected each other in a way. That way the lead image really showed readers what the piece was all about, kind of making connections between what apes do and what we do at work. All right, this piece got a B. After revision, it ended up much stronger, like these other ones that we've talked about. Okay, here's the last one that we're going to look at: fake and genuine, science behind smiles. Okay, well, when you look at the images, you'll see that this does seem to be about smiles, and so the topic does seem clear here. And the main idea kind of works too, right? Apparently this is about, science. And, when you look at these images like side-by-side comparisons, charts, brain scans, it feels like, science. So topic kind of works here, main idea works here too, and to a certain extent the logical division of ideas does too, right? I mean, here they mention like toothpaste, right? See right there, toothpaste, and here's a picture of toothpaste. Okay, and then this is where, which one's fake, right? Okay, and here's like the brain stuff and picture of the brains. So far we can see the division of ideas, but then we get into this stuff. What's happening here? Also, there's a real shift in mood or feel. Like, think about how these images feel versus these. It's like we have two different voices in this essay. This is another example of a B. A lot of things are working, but there's some stuff to improve. All right. So clearly we can see that multimodality presents some challenges, and the things that we can work on over time, like all of these writers did.